Hi, thanks for watching our first episode of Designing What's Next. In this series, we're going to explore work in a post-COVID world by asking 5 questions in 5 minutes to some of the smartest thinkers in workplace design. I'm Katie Pace, hosting in my new home office and baby nursery. And today, we're going to talk to James Ludwig, Vice President of Global Design and Engineering for Steelcase. But before we get started, I just had to know, what's his home office like?
My home office is about variety, flexibility, and staying active. It's working outside. It's sitting with a great view of the tulips. It's sitting in my lounge chair. It's sitting on my sofa, and it's finding my desk when it's time to connect or to do deep work. To me, I did a picture for our executive team of my ideal office, and I just took pictures of my current one because, basically this has been part of my life for many years. I mean, we need to come back to the office because without a doubt, working from home and collaborating over Zoom has its limitations. When I see some of these announcements that everyone's going to work from home, I hope that these companies have the same, sort of attitude towards that as they do their innovation, which is to fail fast, to succeed sooner. Because eventually they're going to realize that they're eroding at the very foundations of what makes up their companies, which is culture. And people make up culture. And the connections that we make up what that is. There's so much that happens before and after the meeting that you can't get from Zoom. The key right now, I think, for organizations is to be open to iteration. Because anyone who says they have the answer right now, I think is going to be wrong tomorrow. It's such an ever-shaping, ever-moving, ever-changing situation. And again, if you go back to the idea of flexibility, agility, and resiliency, those kinds of things are, again, hallmarks of competitive organizations and enlightened organizations. They just have to adapt that way. A colleague of mine in New York said, sometimes it takes a crisis for us to realize that we're already living in a different world. And I think we've been struggling with this challenge of what work is and what life is and where they separate. And for me, it's just called life. And I think what we're seeing now is that is here to stay, and managing that and leading in that are going to become key differentiators between a place of work that is centered on well-being or simply one that is centered on productivity. And as we know, long term, we have to be centered on the people that create the work, and helping them to balance that is going to be key. Of course, the health and safety of our people has to be front and center, but eventually we'll move past how we engineer solutions to protect people physically. We have to take into account the entire person and the well-being of people, and that includes cognitive, social, physical, emotional. All those things need to be taken into account. And we'll get at that by asking the why and the what. Why is it important at all to come to work? Why is connection important? And then what will those environments look like? At some point, we'll move past these virus-centric solutions and have to think about human-centric solutions to the problem, because that's the only way forward. It's actually a great moment for design, because our whole careers are based on finding clarity in the context of ambiguity. And right now there are so many unknowns about what today is going to be and tomorrow is going to be. What's key is to move past the how. We can engineer solutions about how to get back to work safely, but to ask questions about why and what really boil things up to what design does best, is to distill things down to their essential nature and ask questions. I think that's the key opportunity for design right now, is to fundamentally rethink, why is it important to get back to work? What do cities look like in the future? Why do people need to connect to be creative? I think those are the key questions, and design has a place at the seat of the table to continue to ask them and make them the center of the question, the center of the discussion.